welcome again to our devotional series, Messages from Tiny People. Our message today comes from the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 10, going downwards. We are going to talk about the man Paul. Yes, the man Paul was a prisoner of Christ. He was a follower of Christ who met Christ, and he began preaching about Christ. But in this context, I want to talk about Paul finding beauty in rotten substances. So that will be our lesson today. Finding beauty in rotten substances. Paul finds himself in prison because of the gospel. He's been whipped, he's been beaten, he's been flogged, he's been tormented, and he's sitting in a prison where there are four walls he can't escape, and the prison was not something that was pleasant, and he has a guard that is taking care of him so that he does not escape. And as he's sitting in that prison wall, he starts to meditate, and his heart is called upon God. That was his attitude. Paul always found goodness in bad situations, and I want to bring out something today. As he's sitting and looking at the guard, something strikes his mind. He looks at the guard, the Roman guard. He's putting on the whole armor of battle. He's putting on a breastplate. He has a shield. He has a sword, and he starts meditating, looking at the breastplate. What does the breastplate do? The breastplate is in front. It protects his heart as he goes out to battle, or he protects his heart if the prisoner wants to attack him. He's looking at the shield. The shield is used to defend himself from the darts, the fiery darts that comes from the enemy. He looks at the feet, and his feet are shod with the shoes that had some studs that were sharp, that would give him balance. He's thinking, so what does the sword do? The sword is the real deal for the battle, because the sword is the one that goes to attack the enemy. And as he looks at this man, he starts thinking about the spiritual warfare that he goes through, or that the church of God goes through, and he comes up with a powerful sermon. He comes up with Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10, where he says, "Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that he may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." And then he begins to outline what you're supposed to put on as a soldier of the cross. And so I want us to learn from Paul's attitude. Positivity. He is positive even though he is in prison. He sees beauty in rotten substances. Nobody can find beauty in prison, but Paul finds beauty. Sometimes in life you need to understand that situations that we go through are there to point us to something. Sit down and look at your situation. Sit down and meditate, and you will realize that God is trying to communicate something. God is trying to show you how to fight. Paul gives us, this is one of the most powerful strategies of battle. It comes from prison. It comes from a man that is bound, a man that is flogged, he's tired. Do not despair, child of God, as you go through situations. It might be your sickness. Glorify God in your sickness, because maybe God, as an author, has decided to put you in this story of earth, that you might act as a woman who has been diagnosed with cancer, and you will act faithful even until the end, so that somebody else who knows or reads your story might be encouraged. And so this is my encouragement this morning, that in every situation of life, be the little things of life, be the great things that traumatize us, let us learn to look into the beauty. In the beauty of rotten things, you find beauty in things that people look at and tell themselves that they are hopeless, that they are rotten. Learn from Paul that you can find beauty in rottenness. God bless you.